Hey, what's up, ladies and gents in cyber world? Welcome to RGMF. I'm your host, Chris. So today I'm going to be doing a quick review on an album by a band that's very special to me, Deftones. Second album, Around the Fur. Now, when I purchased this album, I didn't know exactly what I was getting into because the only song I'd heard was My Own Summer, and that was off of the Matrix album. Shout out to Richard. I had heard that song in class. I think it was 10th grade. No, it was 11th grade. 11th grade. And White Pony had just come out, and I just said, let me go pick this up. And I picked up White Pony and Around the Fur, but I didn't really listen to it too much, only because I was like, I got to be in the mood for any new music I buy, especially if it's not a band I already am accustomed to. So, take some time, and because I want to take everything in, I want to really know, want to really get to know the music, the vocals, the way the tracks are set up, the drumming, the guitar, the bass, that everything. I want to fully take it all in, but I want to be in a mindset where I can do that, not where I have a bunch of other stuff going on. Especially, I'm in high school and trying to keep my grades up, and dealing with what most high school kids deal with. Well, mostly. Anyway, so I heard it. The first track kicks off Around the Fur. No, not Around the Fur. My Own Summer, and I was like, yeah, I know this one. And then the next one was Labria, and I was like, oh, okay, this is something different because, for the lead singer, Chino, you was like, what the heck is he saying? He's like mumbling it all in the mic. You can't hear it. I mean, to this day, I think like most people, when you look up the lyrics, they're like, he said all that, like. You can only hear the chorus, everything was like, and I was like, okay. And then the next track is more laid back. I think it was called Mascara. So it was cool. I liked that song. But then when I heard Around the Fur, I was just like, okay, here we go. Like, to me, that's when the album's like, okay, boom, we're really kicking it up a notch. The lyrics, the drumming, the guitars, the bass, everything, like right after that, I was like, okay, like, I got to know more about this band. Like, what is going on here? And I get through the whole album, and I have to say, like, I was just like, at the time, they probably weren't one of my top 10 bands, but over time they became like in my top 3, because it's just like they have always been able. They never tried to do that album, make another one like it. They kept changing, and bands I like are the ones that change, keep elements of themselves, but change a little bit, add something a little different. And that album was very special. To me, it holds up to this day. I mean, it doesn't get as much acclaim, I think, as White Pony, because White Pony had changed, and that's when TRL was out on MTV, and everybody's like, oh, I love the Deftones because of the Change song and stuff. But I'm like, look, cool, no problem, because I'll review that album at one point. It's a great album too. But I think when you want the hard edge, when you want the album that's just straightforward, like doesn't let up. I mean, out of the whole album, I think the only song that lets up a little bit is probably Mascara, but everything else is just full throttle. Like, it just, and it's not fast music per se. Like, it's not like thrash metal or metal in general. It's more laid back, but it had that ability to grab you. And from the first track, My Own Summer, till the last one, MX, It Doesn't Let Up. Even though technically you keep playing, then you'll hear Damone, because that was a hidden track. So, looking back on it, at the time, nobody was calling Deftones nu metal, and Korn, of course, nobody was calling nu metal. I don't think that really kicked in until when White Pony and then Korn's Follow the Leader came out. And then you had a flood of all these bands, Linkin Park, Disturbed, Static X. I think another band was Cold. Yeah, I think another band was Cold. And then System of a Down, even though they weren't really nu metal. And you had a lot of people that were, I wouldn't say they were copying what Korn and Deftones did, but they just brought in an element where it was like, it was too similar. And I think it was the record labels. I don't think it was the band members per se. I think they were just like, look, we're just trying to get on. We're trying to make a living. We want to make this a full career. So I think some of them may have had to do certain things I didn't like at the time, because when you look back on a lot of the bands at the time, Papa Roach too, they looked very similar to the vibe. Oh, and POD, they look very similar to the vibe of Deftones and Korn, and that's why I feel, in my humblest opinion, that if you want new metal, you go pick up Deftones, Around the Fur, and White Pony to an extent, because White Pony's where they really started to change. Because after that, they weren't really just new metal anymore. And I know I don't think they really care for the name, but they're still a rock band. They still have riffs. They still have the stuff that makes a rock band. I just think that the groove of how they were playing the instruments made them new metal. Overall, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to my top tracks on Around the Fur, of course, Around the Fur is number one. My Own Summer, Be Quiet and Drive, Far Away. That one's amazing. And then the other one is Die the Flu. I don't know how to say the last part of this. It's weird. And then Rickets. Rickets is very similar to Labria, but I liked it more because you could you could actually hear, like, you could kind of know what he's saying, like, I'm not saying Labria is not a good song, but it's just like Rickets got my attention more, especially I liked how, and then I noticed the theme between all those songs is that the notes that were played were kind of more what I gravitate towards for the album as a whole. I mean, I would say the whole album, there's not one song on there I don't like. It's just like, those are my top 5. Out of 5 yes sirs, I would give a 5 out of 5 yes sirs. From top to bottom, I can listen to that. Matter of fact, I've been listening to that album the last few weeks. I can listen to that album all the time. It still holds up to this day, ever since the first time I purchased it. I really would be... It would be great if the band would play that whole set, that whole album from front to back. I don't know if they ever have, because sometimes I see videos on YouTube and stuff about some of the songs they played, but it would just be really cool, But then they're also in a different space. They're about to come out with their 9th album, hopefully in the next few months, and this was like the 2nd album. So a lot changes between 7 albums, especially, and then the transition from Around the Fur to White Pony. So anyway, that's my review on Deftones' Around the Fur. If you have interest in it, feel free to check it out. I'm sure they got tracks online on YouTube per se to listen to it. You won't be disappointed if you've heard any Deftones song, and if you're really looking for the hard edge stuff of when they first started out. Not to say the later stuff isn't, but if you're looking for that, you're going to get it on that album more than White Pony. And that's not to discredit White Pony. I'm just saying White Pony's just a different flavor of the band. But if you want the, just full on, doesn't let up, it's never like, like a soft, really chill song. It's just like song after song after song after song, just going in, getting the point across. Lyrics too, Chino, even though it's the second album, you can tell he really stepped his game up from Adrenaline, in regards to lyricism and such, and even the band as a whole, just how they were playing. And I'm not saying Adrenaline wasn't good, but you can just tell, like, in my opinion, bands are always supposed to get better, and you can tell they really just stepped their game up. They really came full throttle with what they were trying to do with this album, and I feel it holds up to this day. And yeah, so with that being said, see you guys in the next one, and cue the music. Okay.